Okay, let's move on from the land of poison to the land of, well, we'll see. Lagdo Ruins number 6. And we can now use Glenn. I actually was mistaken last time about Hayden. Glenn is also someone who we never actually got to view the description of during the main game, although his is pretty self-explanatory. Glenn, a character who probably would have joined during the main story if it weren't for Volter! But at least we get to use him in the post-game. That's something, I guess. Sadly, he doesn't have any kind of interaction or even a passive support with his brother. And while some of his starting stats are okay, and he got a pretty considerable buff to his defense growth in the English version, he's just yet another bonus character who's kinda meh, and inferior to most people you could have trained during the main story. So yeah, that's Glenn. Once again, mainly worth it just for the items they come with. But let's check what kind of map we have here. This one is kind of interesting. This is basically the spider map. So also what people think of Australia. But anyway, we also start forcibly split up into 3 groups of 3. There's well, 2 groups of 3 and 1 group of 4. There's one group that's here, and they're stuck in this central room having to fight their way through a ton of bales. The other groups are going to go around the sides and attempt... I think the idea is that the group of 4 here are meant to be trapped in this center part, and the other 2 groups are supposed to be going to rescue them. Like I said, I think that's the idea, but in practice, the group here should be easily capable of fighting their way out, especially seeing as there are pillars everywhere, so these spiders are not going to be hitting very much. They're pretty strong, though. Also, we have this. There's one enemy here that has Shadow Shot, and he's got quite a high attack stat, too. Well, I mean, don't really know what gender this floating eyeball is, if that concept even applies. But, yeah. We also have a Cyclops here with a door key, even though there's no door on this side of the map. And there is, I believe... yeah, you have a door key here to unlock that. Or you can just smash through these walls and reunite through these stairs here, so... there's a few ways you can go about this, and another instance of the boss having really lame stat scaling for hard mode compared to the normal enemies. Let me just quickly... there are a few Gorgons here that only have stone. So, in isolation, they're no threat at all, because they can't take advantage of the high critical rate. Now, let's see if we've got any droppables. Killer Lance is alright. This guy has 2 longbows. And that looks like everything, yeah, so just the Killer Lance and the Longbow, that's kind of a shame. So, who do we send down each path? Probably like to put the people with the higher evasion up in the center, although, seriously, these bales have ridiculous amounts of health. 70 HP, yeah. So, Loot standing on a pillar might do well here, just gotta watch out for Shadow Shot, so I'm okay with her still being here. Guess I could have Joshua as well, maybe? It's just that his raw power is not really good enough to be fighting these bales. They just have too much health. I could try Ross, but there's a chance that... I think he can double most of the stuff here. Just his evasion isn't really the best. And you have barely any offensive magic left. Suppose I should probably send people when it comes to supports. Actually, let's put Garrick in the center because of the support with Ross that I built up. Yeah, everyone is very quickly approaching max level. I suppose I should, yeah, have some... I wonder if... yeah, have fast-moving characters around these side paths. Let's see how Ewan... yeah, Ewan's base avoid of 70 is pretty good. Which is exactly equal to Loot's. That's actually interesting. So, yeah, Loot has 1 point of speed less, but Ewan has 2 points of luck more, and... yeah, from what I remember from the formulas, it is about 2 points of luck that equates to 1 point of speed when it comes to evasion. But anyway, let's... okay, before we fight, let's see if we're fine for weapons. I think you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. Well, might as well take an extra Flux Tome if I have one. You know, maybe Nosferatu might not be a bad idea to have. Restore is, I guess, kind of useful here because of all the stone. Well, not so much kind of useful, but very useful. Yeah, might as well swap Shine for Divine, just so that I have a more durable tome here. Tana... Oh yeah, you definitely need more weapons. Just take an iron one, I guess, and another one of those. Cormag, how you doing? I think you're fine. Garrick is, I guess, mostly fine. He's going to have to rely on axes a lot. Ephraim may as well take another... Do I have any spare... I'll have to dip into the weapons from the B team at this point, I think. Yeah, let's go ahead and take that Iron Lance. And Ross is fine. Yeah, okay, that should be good. Apologies for spending so much time in preparations there. But anyway, now it's time to fight. And watch out for that Shadow Shot, obviously. Don't know if that Mogul moves or not, though. So let me just quickly check. That's a lot of damage and potentially a lot of... Yeah, a lot of damage, and not that bad of a hit rate is what I was trying to say, something along the lines of. Now, my main theory was to park a magic user on one of these. Wow, crit from 21 damage is not enough. These spiders do have an enormous amount of HP, but yeah. Wanted to park a magic user on one of these and kind of pull a Forseti light and basically just watch all the enemies die. But... firstly, I want to take out the initial enemies here just to make sure that it's mostly safe for them, because they obviously have to get to the pillars to begin with. Also, I need to watch out for stone. Okay, let me see if I can... No, that's definitely not one rounding. How much uses do you have left on Excalibur? I don't like having to waste Excalibur uses, but... because, yeah, 55 damage here. Okay, that's good. That only costed one use anyway. It's kind of a waste if you're doing that much anyway, and yet you're still needing 2 attacks to kill, but managed to get the one shot thanks to the critical. Yeah, whenever Excalibur shows up in the series, it tends to have a pretty high crit rate. That's kind of one of the things about it. This thing, though. Yeah, may have to just have you in here and hope for the best. One of them should be fine to take on. And you still have an enormous amount of HP. Alright, who has the... Yeah, you still have the Philly Shield. Anybody here have any long-range weapons? Doesn't really look like it. Okay, gonna do this just hoping for a crit. And I didn't get one. 15 times 3 would be 30, and then that would be like 45. I don't think that would have killed with a single crit anyway. Oh, great. Both of them can only reach the same enemy. What I was going to say before was that this is the point where I'm going to have to be kind of careful, because the enemies have so much HP that I definitely risk triggering the Pierce glitch if attacking at range. The Pierce glitch can happen in melee, but it's much more unlikely. Okay, at least you gain strength for your last level up. That I'm okay with. It's not quite capped, but I guess it kind of evened out in the end. Like I said, though, she had this much strength as a low-level Falcon Knight on Erica's route, so that's pretty annoying. Okay, what have we got here? Killing Edge, Steel Bow, just got to stay out of range of stone, but other than that, we should be fine. Ephraim doesn't count as armored after all, he isn't Hector. As much as his caps like to make him look like Hector. But I've already ranted about that enough. Okay, good. I was about to say, speaking of ranting, I'm not getting criticals, but I got a critical, so that's fine. Okay, Joshua wasn't 1 experience off level 20. Doesn't look like he's going to end up maxing speed. That's really weird. He's normally, like, his average is definitely max speed. Like, his average is max speed before level 20, I believe, so that is kind of strange, but I can always make up the extra amount with stat boosters and the like, which I still have lying around in my convoy. I'll probably use those at the very end. Actually, I don't know, it's just the thing about stat boosters with me. I just have this thing with wanting everyone to get by on their natural merits. It just feels kind of weird, them not having the stats that they gain throughout all the time that I've been with them. It's weird. I get attached to Fire Emblem characters in weird ways. It's just what is probably the main appeal of Fire Emblem to me, and this is something that might come off as very, very strange to most people, but I actually play Fire Emblem for the level ups. Basically, I like seeing my characters grow and develop throughout the game. It's part of why I'm generally not a big fan of pre-promotes, because to me it's just not as fun using someone who starts out strong and doesn't really get much stronger. I don't know, it's one of the main appeals to Fire Emblem for me, right from the beginning, has always been just seeing my army grow and develop over the course of the game. I know it's not something that a lot of people play Fire Emblem for, but it is what personally appeals to me in the series. So that's why I tend to gravitate more towards high growth characters or things like that. I mean, there is a limit though. I mean, I tried giving Sophia a chance in FE6 once, and even I lost my patience. I've also never trained Nino before. Okay, that answered my question. You do, move. That's good to know. And, as always, Cormag really hates Shadow Shot, so gonna want to kill off that thing quickly. Gonna want to make sure his health stays above 34. But yeah, I rage quitted out of training Sophia because I tried to do it in the side quest chapter that I unlocked after she joins, but everything doubled her with hand axes, and it was just kind of ridiculous. And from what I've heard, the result you get is pretty much just another Lilina. And yeah, Lilina is already not exactly the best to begin with. I still like her though. She's basically loot, but a lot slower. Otherwise known as the loot that I actually got in this playthrough. Yeah, so people can get RNGs through it or things like that, but like, I don't know, to me that can be part of the charm sometimes. I had a lot of fun complaining about Lute and Ross's speed gains, for example. It's just with the way that they grow and stuff, they just develop these little personalities like that. I don't have a Restore Staff user on this part of the map, I just realized. That's actually bad. But, yeah, I can use my pseudo-stone immunity by putting Ephraim's support range in Tana's range, and that means that she'll be able to dodge it almost all the time. So, yeah, like I said, pseudo-support immunity. I can Javelin that thing, except I can't, because no one else can. You don't have any more Purge, do you? Or I got rid of Purge. Dang it, if I had Purge, I could Purge that, and then Javelin that thing. That's definitely a shame. As long as I stay out of range of that, though, which is actually easier said than done. I'll just, okay, let's see how we do this. And they didn't even go for Ewan. Okay, Ewan will probably level up off of this. We'll see. Those are alright final stats. That, yeah, I believe that's 1 point off Cat Magic, but, I mean, that's still not bad considering I never used a single stat booster on him. Alright, now for the moment of hoping that people don't die. Actually, wait. Yeah, even the weapon triangle is going to cancel out that avoid bonus to the pillar. Yeah, I'm going to let you move first. For now, just have Lute hang back here. I was going to have her go on that pillar and lure the other Bale, but as I said, that is going to probably end badly, so I won't be doing that. Speaking of probably end badly, I'm gonna play a little conservatively until that Shadow Shot is gone. Because I don't want Ross getting hit by one of these and then getting hit by Shadow Shot, because that will probably result in death. Yeah, so every inch of that range is completely possible, is a possible targeted square. Yeah, from here I'll just leave Garrick back. I should have Shadow Shot gone next turn. 1 critical but 0 hit. Of course, the annoying thing about most people in my army hitting level 20 at this point is that reinforcements are now going to serve no purpose other than to drag out the map even longer, because I can't get experience off of them. And this is exactly why I put the Javelin. And it wasn't a kill, but I can pick up the slack next turn just fine. Yeah, like I said, Virtual Stone Immunity. If this hits, I'm officially the unluckiest person in existence. Okay, I need to get through you, and then I need to kill off that Gorgon. Right, now, this thing was annoying and retreated a few spaces, so... But, provided that thing dies, I actually can still get to it. The problem is that I have to decide between either leaving Shadow Shot alive or leaving the Stone Gorgon alive, and with his terrible resistance, Cormac does have a tendency to get hit by stone. This could potentially be bad, because if he gets hit by stone, he doesn't have the Philly Shield, and that means that... Wait a minute. Okay, 3 times 6 is 18. 18 plus 17 would be probably easier to count those both as 20, so 14 and then subtract 5, so 35. That would be 35 against your defensive 25, which does 10 damage, and on a critical, that's 30 damage. Right, so if nothing else attacks him that turn, Cormag can take a crit, and you have a Restore Staff too, so... Actually, maybe this could work. Maybe this could work, let's see. So first, let's get you out of the way. Who here hasn't hit level 20? Let me just check the unit menu. Oh, finally, Luton Ross got a support! It's been all game. I've used them in pretty much the same chapters for the entire game, and it's only now they're actually getting a support. Might as well do that one, then. But first, yeah, let's just kill off this... Yeah, 42 hit rate with stone. That's not good. But yeah, as long as this thing is gone, which I can't even one round with the Silver Lance, which is a shame, but let's just get rid of it now. Because, yeah, he's safe from a effectiveness bonus crit from the bow, thanks to his really good defense. And so he still has no supports. Cormag is that one forever alone character in my army. Anybody need healing? Okay, the only person in her range is Joshua, and he's only losing 1 HP. What I wanted to show was... Where is level? Here we go. Okay, so who isn't 20? Actually, quite a few people. Ephraim, Ross, Joshua, and Loot. And Loot is the furthest behind. No, let's not do that. I mean, that's not going to work either, but... How do I do this? Well, first let's try this, I guess. Yeah, that's 1 crit. Okay, good, he's guaranteed to kill now. Was worried that a second hit wouldn't do it. These spiders seem to have a knack for not dying to a critical and then a regular, and I accidentally pressed A too quickly. This will probably work out in my favor, though. I can always do Ross's support with loot later. It's not completely imperative that I get it now. Let's see... yeah. And she finishes just 1 experience point off of the next level. At this point, what do you have? Steel Lance. I could kill that thing, but then Ewan gets attacked by a Bale. So if he gets attacked by a Bale and then that's 12 damage, and the Bale does 31 minus 13. Okay, I'm gonna go for this anyway. And another low percent crit from Ewan. And his anima rank increased. What's he at now? B. Kind of rather his staff rank going up, because the jump from from D to C in staff seems to unlock quite a lot of important things. That's not quite enough either. I need to use either that or pretty much has to be a silver weapon. Yeah, I think Tana and Amelia have the same strength stat. It's just that Tana's has the potential to go 1 higher. What's up there? Yeah, not that much, actually. Okay, except if Ephraim gets petrified, that could be bad. Fortunately, he has a way to guarantee a one-shot, which is good. Sorry if I'm not really saying all that much. I guess I can think about something to go on a tangent about. But just the overall design of this map, I mean, not so much like in terms of a raw gameplay map design standpoint, but I mean in terms of the concept of it. It's an idea that reminds me a lot of FE5, one of the earlier maps where some of your characters were trapped in a gladiatorial arena and the rest had to rescue them. I always thought that was a cool idea, and that I kind of wish there were some other Fire Emblem maps that were like that. I mean, you know, it helps when the characters you need to rush to the rescue of are player-controlled and not NPCs, because that always tends to get very, very irritating. But I think I remember kind of liking that map in Thracia, although you had to get there very, very fast, because Nana would not survive for very long in the arena at all. Yes, that's exactly 10 damage. I wonder if I have any spare hand axes. I probably should have bought more of those for Garrick. And reinforcements, just when I was talking about how reinforcements at this point are just annoying. Just drag out maps longer than they really should be. Stupid divine weight. Ah. Yeah. This is why I don't like the higher ranked light tomes in this game. Yeah, well, actually probably was a good idea to have Joshua move first, because in case he gets petrified, then Natasha could cure him. Anyway, let's see, yeah, you won't actually be able to get to us from here. So next turn, probably Cormac can fly up and take out the Gorgon there. But yeah, that map in FE5 was kind of interesting, I guess. Haven't actually played FE5 in a really long time. There are a few things that stand out to me about that game, but a few of them were gameplay mechanic-wise, or certain aspects, like I mentioned, the weird generic characters that you get in that one chapter. And then, what's his name? Ralph? Ralph, that one FE character who stands out by being completely unmemorable. He didn't score the lowest in the popularity poll, but he... I mean, everyone from Thrakia scored very, very low. It seems like that's one of the least... Well, the cast of that game seems to be one of the least remembered in the series, but... I was kind of surprised Ralph didn't score the absolute lowest. He's that one character who's so generic, it's kind of hard to even remember he exists. And if you have longbows, no, iron and short. But yeah, Ralph is basically a, well, mercenary, because in that game, they called a class that was essentially hero mercenary, for some very weird reason. Wasn't that the game where you had Pegasus Riders promoting to Pegasus Knights? It almost felt like that was like a trainee class, and it'd be a 3-tier system, and Pegasus Knight would then promote to Falcon Knight, but that was not how it went. It was Pegasus Rider, Pegasus Knight. And then it was the same for the Wyvern classes, too. It's always sort of weird when a game in the series uses a different name for a class that is pretty much a class from an earlier game, like FE4 calling Heroes Forest for some reason. I actually have no idea what they mean by that. I've tried looking up whether there's like a medieval term for some kind of knight called a forest, but I can't find anything. I have no idea why they called the hero class Forest. One of those class names that I feel like if there was ever an official localization, it would definitely get localized to something else, because the name just doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh, that's not good. Okay, at least you don't have Shadow Shot. But almost capped Moguls with Crimson Eye is going to be potentially scary. But let's just thunder this guy. I will probably be showing Ross and Loot support, but not just yet. I forget if I've ever supported them in any earlier playthrough of mine, personally. Well, Loot's speed curse seems to be coming back again, but at least her speed has got to... Hey, she maxed out resistance. I think on average she doesn't do that often. Still, in terms of weird averages, I will always remember... okay, yeah, that wall's going to prevent those Moguls from attacking from there, so that's good. But I'll always remember Rayson in Path of Radiance, which is, yeah. I've already mentioned this, but Rayson is, on average, extremely likely to cap skill, even though the stat is literally useless to him. Which is something that I always found funny. But, like, Rayson capping skill, from what I've seen, is one of the highest percentage chances to cap a stat of the whole game. And it's a stat that's useless. Actually, this is kind of a waste of an elixir, but it at least gives him inventory space to take that key, possibly next turn. Right, now Garrick is not gonna want to have to deal with those, for obvious reasons. And Ross is out of long-range axes. I think these two bales don't move. I think they're just there to be guards of the, this area. But it is difficult to tell. So how much total might do you have? 41. Yeah, even Ewan's decent resistance is not really that much of a hope against that. Also, if I use that, I'm going to be suffering weapon trial disadvantage, so I'm going to be using the Flux Tome instead. Which is a good thing that I pulled that out of the convoy. And again... It's funny because Ewan didn't really do that very much outside of the ruins, so it's like he's just started to do that lately. Right, these Moguls. I don't like these Moguls. Steel Lance. 42. Garrick is going to be taking a lot of damage from that. Combined with that, which could potentially still attack him if the AI is feeling like it's trolling me. Like, oh yeah, we only wanted you to think that these bales don't move. The AI can do that sometimes. Can be difficult to tell in these games whether a given boss or enemy moves or not, because from Shadow Dragon on, they actually give any enemy that doesn't move 0 movement, but not so much here. And here's what I was saying before, actually. Wait a minute. Longbow and Ironbow. Maybe having Cormac rush in is not a good idea. If he goes here, he's only going to get attacked by 1 bow. Yeah, this should be fine. It's weird that Ephraim can one things, but Cormac can't for some reason. Actually... I'm just going to lure that thing individually, because I'm just too scared of potentially getting hit by stone and then dying. Definitely don't want to get hit by stone and then that Cyclops attacking. So I'd rather just wait here. Okay, yeah, I made a good call there. So now I need to restore staff him. Now let's see if I made a good call here. This is not that good of a hit rate, but it's still a lot of damage if it does hit. And it missed. It's still funny how heroes hold their shield out whenever an attack misses, even though, I mean, if the attack misses, you don't need your shield. Speaking of shields and misses, I really like how Radiant Dawn handled evasion with armored classes, and also I believe Halberdiers. Instead of dodging, whenever an attack misses, they block it with their shields, which I always thought was pretty cool for classes like Generals, because, yeah, it didn't really make that much sense for them to just be able to dodge out of the way of something. And then at first I was thinking that it didn't make much sense having shielding being tied to your speed stat, but I guess it could be like reaction time to actually throwing the shield up in time. That makes sense. But I did think that was pretty cool, how those classes would actually block attacks instead of dodging them, essentially. I should be able to... Yeah, I have a weapon that can one-shot you. And that is Ross's final level. Question, will he gain speed? What is the answer? He did! Okay, that's good. I mean, 20 isn't the best, but I think it's very slightly above his average. That's another reason why I'm, again, have this weird tendency to not use stat boosters. It's partly because I like to see how much better or worse than the averages in the various areas my character's in. I had a feeling that was going to hit. But I think I'm close enough to get healing to him pretty soon. Good news is that Ephraim can door and run. What's he got equipped, though? Okay, Iron Lance, that's fine. Oh, actually, Ewan can heal him. Although, actually, there aren't that many things that could potentially attack Ewan from there. Yeah, let's go ahead and have Ewan heal. Still like how Druids just levitate the staff in place. How many enemies are left? 15. Still quite a few of them, but we're slowly getting there. And yeah, that just proved my point. The middle force was easily able to cut their way out without needing rescuing. Definitely different to that one Thracia map, where Aval is pretty much the only one who can handle herself there, and she gets forcibly cutscene captured after a few turns. And then doesn't join again until one chapter before the end of the game, at which point she's kind of not that great. And that chapter is downright evil as well. Okay, so I think I may have mentioned this before in other videos, but Thracia 776, I've actually never officially completed that game. I stopped playing at chapter 24X, and anyone who's played that game probably knows why. But from what I've seen of the final chapter is ridiculous. Well, I mean, the final chapter itself looks kind of complicated, but the final boss is laughably easy because they're pretty much just a normal enemy. there's not really that much special about them other than the fact that they can turn into stone, but by that point you have an item that can cure that, so doesn't really matter all that much. And I believe in that game stone doesn't have any kind of, like, it doesn't make attacks have a higher chance of critical against you or anything like that. I was about to say that I believe it's permanent unless it's cured with that staff, but that's the case of any status effect in Thracia. They're all permanent until you use Restore Staff. It's just that normal Restore Staffs don't work on stone. Only there's one specific one that for some reason only one certain family can use. It's not a particularly high priority, but I might play Thracia 776 sometime. I've said it a few times, I personally don't think it's as difficult as the fandom, well, not the fandom, but like certain sectors of the fandom make it out to be. And a lot of the gameplay, I feel, you can definitely see that it inspired the GBA games. In fact, originally, all of the weapon icons that were in FE6 were actually from Thracia. They changed them pretty quickly, but it's kind of an interesting bit of... Okay, reinforcement Gwilgi. So my guess is it has enormous speed. 25 isn't that good for a Gwilgi at this point. But we are definitely breaking through here. Speaking of breaking through, I could try and break that wall, but maybe not at this point. Okay, so let's see. Thunder should definitely take you out. Thunder's pretty much the only Animatome you ever need. It's decently light, has good power, decent accuracy, and has an alright crit rate. It's always a pretty good thing to have. 0 hit rate, not even on any kind of defensive terrain. What do I use? I might try for this at first. Well, that's not great. That is good, though. I wanted that thing out of the way so that I could fly Tana in, although taking on a Gwilgi on her own is probably not the best idea. Actually, she doubles it, so... Actually, it is a good idea. Huh. Though, first let me just check what can reach Sharp Claw Spider. This thing is... Okay, that's a Lethal Talon, not a Sharp Claw. And that's good too, so she didn't take any extra chip damage before the enemy's turn. Alright, are you a sword or you are not a sword at all? You're obviously a lance. That wouldn't be a droppable Dragon Spear, would it? I don't think so. Well, it wouldn't anyway, because it's what they currently have equipped, and an enemy never drops what they currently have equipped. Alright, let's see if I can get a crit here. No. But the second was a yes. And then Ewan finishes off the last one. We're kind of spread out on the other side, though. Okay, just in case there are more reinforcements, let's see if I can just block this. I was about to say, let's use Nosferatu. Wait a minute, that was not enough damage. It should be... At least I'm blocking the reinforcement point. Don't know if there are going to be more reinforcements or not, but we'll see. Alright, so now... Probably should equip that sword just in case. Good news is there's only one Cyclops on this map. It's also going to drop an extra door key that I don't really need. From what I read, there is an enemy in one of the later Ruins maps who drops a door key despite there being no doors on the map at all. Maybe that's an artifact of earlier in development where there was one, I don't know. That'll be for later, I guess. Probably am going to need a weapon restock after this one. You have an Axe Reaver? Garrick laughs at that. He can still hit you anyway because he's just that amazing. Okay, that was the one with the droppable Killer Lance. Okay. I I've already got a few of those in. And yeah, there would have been another reinforcement if I hadn't blocked that point, I guess. But yeah, I've already got a lot of those in the convoy, but that's probably okay. Okay, that Cyclops needs to die this turn, but I'm pretty sure it will. Well, I mean, if it hits Natasha. And it did hit Natasha, so yeah, that Cyclops has to die this turn, definitely. And it's definitely going to die this turn. Didn't even need Cormag. Cormag should have been able to finish it off, though. And there's a surplus door key that I don't need. I can probably throw that away now, I guess. I'm not likely to need it going forward. Right, Ephraim could just stomp the... If things go well, i.e. I'm lucky with Tana, I could end this map now. Wait, okay, yeah, 3 enemies, that one's the 3rd one. Yeah, I could easily end this map now. That isn't enough, though. I actually need to crit you. Even the pathetic boss spider is, requiring a crit to kill, and I didn't get it. Okay, if that thing dies, though, Ewan could finish the boss off, so... Let's see if I can get this one. Oh, that's... actually, no, that's fine. Yeah, the Pierce glitch happens when... That's fine. When you damage the enemy while its health bar is still decreasing. The reason why it's more common with the ranged weapons is because their animation is much faster. Well, actually, wait, no. Yeah. Actually, yes, it is because their animation is faster. Basically, the second attack comes before the health bar can stop decreasing. With a physical attack, you need to do a lot of damage on your first hit in order for the glitch to potentially activate. And still, I have been hearing reports that it's exclusive to the American version, but I still don't want to take that chance. I have seen videos of... Let me see. Yeah, I can just end this now. I've seen video footage of somebody activating it against the boss of Lagdo Ruins Map 9, which would mean that you would lose all your Ruins progress and have to restart the entire thing, so I want to be better safe than sorry at this point. So, that's that map down. Next time is Lagdo Ruins 7. So, we've passed the halfway point at least. I should mention that Lagdo Ruins 10 is a pretty short map, though, so really it's just 9 big floors.